aggressiveness with which they played. It's something that we hadn't necessarily seen a lot of from the U.S. team in previous cycles. What were some of the specifics that you really enjoyed seeing of that?
Yeah, as you said, I think they're now a side from watching them at the World Cup that wanna compete. They feel like they should be winning these games, and yeah, I saw that, and definitely even now being in camp, I'm seeing the tactics and I'm seeing the way the manager's talking to us, and he's definitely encouraging us to be a dominant team and to go out there and win games.
And then for Unidos, just your thoughts on Flo coming in and what it is that he adds to this team and what you've seen from him the first couple of days.
Yeah, no, I feel like Flo. Yeah, it's kind of self-explanatory. He's everyone's seen what he's done this season. You know, and yeah, so he's probably gonna. You have to feed him the ball, and then he's gonna put in the goal. You know, that's pretty much it.
Great, Damien.
Flo, what's been the impression of the group so far? And then U.S. soccer, all the fans were following you around, and they want a forward who scores. Does that how did you not let that added pressure get on?
Yeah, the impression of the group has been really, really good. I mean, I came in a bit late because my season finished a bit later. But as soon as I got here, I said hi to the boys. They're all really friendly, made me feel welcome. I've been out for dinner with a few of them. And yeah, I'm just settling in, getting to know everyone. But yeah, as you said, there's been a lot of noise surrounding me coming, but I feel like this is just the nature of the sport. I'm obviously used to competing, and I'm used to the pressure playing at Arsenal and having that expectation of yourself. But the pressure I have for myself is internal. So I mean, what I hear outside is never going to be more than what I expect of myself. So it's not a big problem for me.
Just one more, the whole recruiting process. Could you walk us through how that went? Is it like you hear stories of college recruiting, coaches coming in, having dinner, sitting down, talking? What was this process like?
It was a long process, to be honest. But to be honest, I was out in Orlando just doing some training, and then the squad was also in Orlando as well for their camp. And the manager reached out to me. He said that it'd be good for me to come in and have some food and sit down and talk with him. I was with my agent as well, so the timing was good. We spoke about a lot of things. And he just explained that the vision for US soccer. And yeah, in the end, we had a discussion. I went back home. I still had some time to obviously think and take in what he was saying, and then I came to my conclusion.
Is that Anthony Hudson?
Yeah.
Yep. Good.
Hi guys, thanks so much for your time today. A question for you first. There's been so much love wrapped around you joining the US men's national team. You had a phenomenal season in France, lighting up the league. Have you felt that same love at Arsenal? And is it partially one of the reasons maybe why you want to go off and challenge yourself is the potential of being the US number one? You were the number one in Liga this season. Do you feel that same vibe in terms of what your future looks like at Arsenal?
I don't understand the question, sorry.
The question is that the love that you feel here with this team and the love that you felt in France, do you feel that same love at Arsenal?
I haven't been at Arsenal, so I've obviously been in France, as you said. So I mean, I've been pretty focused about what's been going on in France. When I was at Reims, I gave them the respect of giving them my full attention. So honestly, I don't really know what was going on at Arsenal. Of course, I spoke to some of my friends, but I just left them to it, and I really just got on with what I had to do.
Prior to that, were you feeling the love that you would get the opportunity that you felt that you deserved to maybe start up front for them?
I mean, there was not really any sort of, I didn't feel anything different, if that's what we're trying to ask. I mean, I've always felt the same at Arsenal. I've always felt comfortable. I've always felt appreciated. And we just decided at that time it was best for me to go on loan to develop my my career. And that's what we did. And yeah, the loan was successful, and we're going to meet again when I go back and see what's next.
Great. We'll go to Cameron.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time, guys. For you, Flo, you mentioned how you think you're ready to take on the pressure. Are you excited to be playing Mexico, the big rivalry in your first match?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity, not just for me, but for the team. But as you said, Mexico and the US have a big rivalry. So I'm looking forward to it. And of course, there'll be no better way to introduce myself than playing against a big opposition where it matters.
Absolutely. And then for you, Eunice, Flo just talked about how all the guys are super friendly. And we've heard a lot of guys this week talk about the culture. Could you describe your impression? Obviously, you've been with the team for a few years. So what your impression of the culture is and bond between the team?
Yeah, I feel like for a young player to come in this team, it's quite straightforward because there's a lot of young players and similar generations, similar vibes. So yeah, a young player coming in feels comfortable, you know. So that's the main thing.
All right, we're going to move to questions from on Zoom. We'll first go to Kevin Baxter, who I guess couldn't make it in his own hometown. Then we've got Paul Tenorio and Jonathan Tannenwald. Go ahead, Kevin.
Thank you for that introduction, Neil. That was very nice. Flo, your first game, as you mentioned, is against Mexico. Do you understand? I mean, you haven't been part of this rivalry before. Do you understand the importance of it? Is there anything in obviously there's big rivalries in Europe, but there's something you can compare it to? And would this have been the perfect debut for you if you had been able to write your own story? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, being at Arsenal, obviously know about rivalries. Of course, any rivalry is different, even though the magnitude can be the same. It means different things to different people. So I've spoken to the boys. They've explained to me just the backstory and recent results, and they've just explained how big an occasion this is. And of course, I've taken in what they've had to say, and I'm just hoping at the same time to just go out there and win the game. At the end of the day, it's just a game of football that needs to be won in order for us to achieve our objective.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks, Kevin. We'll move to Paul Tenorio.
Thanks, Neil. I got a couple questions here. First for Flo, when you were making your decision, Gareth Southgate made a couple comments about people being patient and having to weigh the goals that have been scored by other forwards in the pool. How much did those comments factor into your decision, if at all? And then both of you guys have big summer windows. Both of you guys have been linked to potential moves. How much are you guys thinking about what the next club could look like and what you want your season to look like next year? Thank you.
Yeah, in terms of my decision to come here, it was an internal decision between myself, my family, and my agent. It wasn't anything to do with the comments of Gareth Southgate or anything to do with noise here that I heard from outside. I mean, it was something that I wanted to do, something my family supported, and at the end of the day, I just went with my heart and went with what I thought was best.
Great. Okay. We'll move to Jonathan Tannenwald.
Thanks, Neil, and thanks, gentlemen, for the time today. Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer here. Flo, nice to meet you. Eunice, good to see you again. I have a question for each of you. Flo, you took us through the timeline of that trip to Orlando a moment ago, and that was much appreciated. But I wonder, on sort of a more personal level for you, what was it like being recruited, being sort of wooed and pursued? That was, I know, the guy who asked the question a minute ago mentioned that's something in the U.S. we're used to in American college sports, but it doesn't happen in the rest of the world quite that way. And Eunice, we talked with you last summer about this. We were together in Cincinnati, I think it was, and you talked about your friendship with Malik Tillman and how you brought him into this team. What's it been like with Flo?
Yeah, it's been like I know Flo from when I was at Arsenal, so it's a bit different to Malik. But I feel like I've known him from when we were in the academy. And then the way I remember him from the academy is the same. Really, he's doing the same stuff now at a higher level, and we're happy that he's with us now.
Great. All right, we're going to move on to the next three. We'll do Stephen Goff, and then we'll do Henry Bushnell, and then Doug McIntyre. Steve, go ahead.
And for Eunice, your background is very similar to Flo in terms of international options and the Arsenal connections. What were some of the things that you told Flo about the U.S. program, about making the decision, some of your experiences from a year or two ago. What were some of those conversations like?
Yeah, there was a few things like I feel like yeah, getting the opportunity to play. So I feel like the US gave me a great opportunity to play, like from when I was so young, which I really am grateful for. So I felt like yeah, if he decided to come here, he would have got the same opportunity and a lot of trust, a lot of belief in him. As you can see, like you know, the US really believes in him, and that's what happened to me as well. So that was the main part. As a footballer, we want to be appreciated and believed upon. So I feel like that was a big thing.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Steve. We'll move to Henry.
Thanks, Neil. And hey, Flo and Eunice, appreciate you guys' time. Flo, a question for you about your when you were in Orlando, you posted on Instagram, I think it was, and a lot of US fans kind of did some detective work and realized that you were here in Orlando. I was wondering, like, did you want US fans to realize that did you want anybody to realize that you were here in the United States and kind of, you know, in Florida or around the camp? Or was just a total coincidence?
No, I posted the picture, and I mean, to be fair, I showed my agent before I posted it to say if it was okay. And I mean, from the picture, I couldn't make out, I mean, that I was in America. If I was, so I mean, when the comments started coming in that I was here, I was just kind of surprised, to be honest, and kind of overwhelmed.
All right, we will move on. We'll move on to Doug McIntyre.
Thanks, Neil. Thanks, guys, for doing this. Flo, welcome. Questions for you. I think you've had 4 days of training now with your new teammates. What's it been like developing chemistry? Where are you in that process? And looking ahead next week to Las Vegas, I mean, you know, as a new guy, how much are you expecting to play? I mean, is it something where you get eased in, maybe off the bench, or do you get thrown right into the fray? I know it's up to BJ, but how do you sort of see things playing out? Thanks so much.
Yeah, I've been with the team now, I think, on pitch. I mean, it's still very early. I'm still getting to know all my teammates on the pitch and off the pitch. And of course, this is not something that will come overnight. So there's an element of patience that we all need to have in order to get the right relationships, but we're definitely working towards that. But in terms of my expectations and stuff like that, I know that me coming into this team, I'm coming in with a mindset that I need to earn my place. I'm not assuming that I'm going to come in and start, or that's not really the mentality I have in life. So I'm looking to just impress the manager, and if he feels that it's right for me to play, then that's great. And if not, if he wants me to come on and try to make an impact, then that's what I'll do also.
All right, we've got time for a couple more. We'll go to Ron Blum next.
There we go. Hey, Flo, wanted to ask, as you look ahead to your expectations for the next 3 years, how far do you think the U.S. can go in the World Cup hosting the tournament at home?
Yeah, I mean, definitely going in the right direction from what I see now. And it would be silly, I think, to go into a tournament not trying to win it. So, I mean, the expectations are for us to compete in every game, but not even at the World Cup. We're focusing on the present. So, I mean, we're trying to obviously prepare for the Nations League games coming up. And I mean, the aim is to go out there and win both games. And this just gives us the best chance of preparing for the future.
Thanks, Ron. I know we got a couple more hands up, but we're going to finalize this with one more from Charlie Bohm.
Good afternoon, guys. Thanks for speaking with us today. I want to ask you each about the same topic, but I know you have a different perspective on it. So first, Eunice, BJ Callaghan said last week that the shape you guys play and the opposition planning may change, but that the fundamental philosophies and the ideas and ways that you play stay the same, going back to when Greg was coach. So I just wanted to see what your view was on that. Like, has anything changed? Does your role change if the shape is different? And then for Flo, what you've observed of this team's identity and kind of game model so far.
Yeah, BJ said from the first day that we'd carry on doing what we've been doing throughout the years. It's been working. Just obviously improve upon it because we always need to improve and get better. So that's what the main thing is really. We're sticking to the same stuff, but looking to improve on it. So tweaking a few things, and most of the players have been around the group a lot. So we got like a clear way of how to play, and we're just trying to improve on that.
And you, Flo?
Yeah, I mean, to follow up on what Eunice said, I've only been there a short time, but I can definitely see the way BJ wants us to play. He wants us to have possession. He wants us to be on the front foot, and he also wants us to be aggressive off the ball. So I mean, it's kind of what I expected. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing how we get on in the next couple of days.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate the time, and we'll be talking to you soon. All right. Good.